Donja, I think there are two questions for you. So can you share your screen? Oh, yeah, your video. The first one is for in your presentation, do you make changes to the indoor environment due to the responses by the users in your office building?
Yeah, we didn't do that during the study. Our intention was mostly to collect the feedback to better understand the application of these devices, and also to look at it in a different way instead of just using it as a control device. We wanted to see if we could get some useful information that could provide something more than just adjusting set point temperatures. For example, we tried to compare it to the approach that the building had. So in that office building, there was a facility manager which typically received calls or emails about discomfort, and we wanted to compare whether getting these feedback would be different from getting a phone call. And we actually discovered, because it's a very proactive facility manager and he's got a very good communication currently with the occupants, there weren't much difference in using the occupant feedback and then just having occupants calling him by phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you would, because there's a second question now on the topic while you're answering the question, yeah, when and how will you make changes to please the users, if you could?
Yeah, so there are some studies done by, I think one of the biggest studies done is by Yazizadeh. He's also one of those who really introduced the concept of occupant voting systems. Basically, what he did was the users could provide the feedback if it's too cold, too warm, and he created a thermal comfort model for that particular occupant. And then that comfort model identified the temperature that could optimize the comfort level. And this comfort level was then connected to the HVAC system. So it overrode the current temperature set point setting based on the occupant's feedback. And that's how they were automatically connected.
Okay, and I think the last question is more clarification. You mentioned 23.5 degrees instead of 24. Was it during cooling or heating season?
So the study was conducted from end of July till February. So it represents late summer and winter, autumn season. Probably, maybe the temperature would have been different if we had done the study from January till July. So it represents that period of time.
Yeah, but that's more seasons then, eh? So yes, indeed.
Yeah.
23.5 indeed is quite hot for winter season, but it's maybe due to the all air system, I suppose.
Yeah, and actually, in the current way the building was operated was the temperature was actually fixed all year round. But yeah, probably due to the all air setup. So yeah.
Yes, and a related question there is, will you use energy to bring down the water vapor to manage the comfort? What is your suggestion for this?
Yeah, so typically in Denmark we don't we don't control or optimize in terms of relative humidity, so it wasn't a concern of us. And actually, the building, the relative humidity of the building was quite low at that time, and in the office building in general. But that was not something that was really addressed or controlled.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Then a question I think to Bas or to Marco. What are, maybe for you, Bas, what is the main difference between an active house and a passive house?
The difference is it can be both, really. They are different ways of assessing the quality of the building. And an active house can be a passive house, and vice versa. However, if you go back to the beginning and really lose all nuances, passive house is created as a way to create very, very energy efficient buildings.
That's true, yeah.
You insulate well, it's a very airtight building, and you put in balanced ventilation to get the energy requirements for heating and cooling as low as possible. It should be no more than 15 watt per square meter per year, I think, or 15 kilowatt hour per square meter per year. And then the result should be a comfortable and healthy building. Active house is a little bit the other way around. The emphasis on creating a very healthy and comfortable energy build, a very healthy and comfortable building for the user and the occupants, while trying to do that as efficiently possible in both energetically and environmentally.
Okay.
So they don't mutually exclude one another. It's just that the emphasis on passive house is more on the energy performance, and on active house it's a little bit more on the user.
Okay, no, that's a clear answer.